Okay, so as usual, I am late to the party. I finally have picked up one of these Hero 10 Black Bones. So this is the Naked Hero 10, obviously from GoPro, and basically it's the same as the Hero 10, just stripped down. No screens, and obviously smaller, lighter case. I'm sure a lot of you have your opinions about this product. We'll get into that, of course, in this video. Let's go ahead and open it up and see what's inside. So you get a little quick start guide here, and everything is going to be using either the quick app or these QR codes to set your settings, because there's no screen, of course. Got a little bit of instructions here on the connector and how to connect it to your drone. The QR code for setting the camera up so it'll pair with the quick app. You can then set your settings with the quick app on your smartphone. A little guide here on what the LED status lights mean. And a little diagram on how to install the included finger mount. And they do include a QR code for these specific settings here: 4K 60 and 4x3 mode, wide lens, ISO max 1600, hypersmooth off, color flat, UV comp at negative 0.5, high bitrate and sharpness in medium. So I think these are going to be the pretty good settings if you want to do real steady go, which also is included. There's a license included in the cost of this. Got a little documentation here on some answers and questions, and also product safety. This is the connector that you use to connect the GoPro to the drone. This goes to the back of the camera, and then you have some bare wires here. And so basically, referring back to the diagram here, the voltage input here, even though it says 5 to 27 volts, I've heard that 5 volts does not work. You need 2S to 6S. So, probably about 7 volts, I think, is the lowest I would go, because there's an onboard BEC on there that converts it. Converts the 2S voltage, I think, to 5 volts the camera actually uses. The yellow button there is for like the starting and stopping of video. It works the same way as like other naked GoPros in terms of setting up your switches and stuff, so I'm not going to cover that in this video. There's already a lot of videos out there how to do that. So this is the additional 2-prong connector adapter if you want to use your regular GoPro accessories, and then you have this M3 screw and nut to attach that to the back of the camera. Alright, so here it is. It's pretty big. I think it weighs like around 60 grams if I remember from some of the other reviews. Not the lightest naked GoPro out there for sure. Get your mode and power buttons here on the back. That's your connector. I'm going to plug this into here. And this is your main mount point here onto your drone. I know that there's a lot of 3D printed like sliding type mounts where you can put that onto your drone and then slide the camera in. I think that's what I would prefer to do versus putting this adapter on. So you'd have to put this on here, and then you put this screw in like so, and then you put the nut on. And I can already tell from this is not a locking nut, so I've heard that this can get loose if you're flying around, even if you tighten this down really tight. So this is one that I would not recommend using, or at least switch that nut out with a locking nut. Otherwise, your camera angle might change while you're flying around if you want to use the 2-prong mount on your drone. But yeah, probably not going to be using this. It's this extra weight. Usually these 2-prong mounts are pretty heavy on the drone side, unless you're using like a 5-inch, of course it doesn't matter. But for something lighter, 3-inch, 2.5-inch, you're going to probably want to not use that and use one of those sliding type of 3D mounts. But yeah, pretty simple. I heard it's not easy to get inside here. There's a seam, you can see it goes all the way around. In typical traditional GoPro fashion, getting in here is not going to be easy. It's all glued in. So this whole thing is glued in, and you have to pry it open to get to the guts out. I've heard of people saying, oh, well, I'll strip this down and put it into a lighter case. You could do that, of course. I'm not exactly sure where all the extra weight is. Maybe there's this lens here. This is basically the same standard lens that's on the regular Hero 10, and you can take this off. Just twist it off, I believe. Yeah, so this is just the standard lens cover. So this is going to be compatible with all your traditional ND filters out there that just twist on. So for example, I've got these camera butter ND filters, and if you have like Freewells or Polar Pros, you can just, you know, pop these off. They have that same mechanism in the back there, and pop those onto this. It'll work the same way as you would on a full-size Hero 10. But if you want something lighter, there are these adapters from Camera Butter, and I'll have a separate video on this one to use the Hero 8 ND filters from Camera Butter. Should be a little lighter. I'm going to do a separate video on that, but I'm just curious how much this thing weighs. Alright, so the camera without the lens cover is 53.6 grams. So that's where the 54 gram weight comes from as they're advertising it. And then with the standard lens cover here, now we're coming in at 60 grams. So, you know, if you want to reduce your weight, I think this extra 6 grams for this little piece right here, if you want to use the Camera Butter solution, I think that shaves a few grams off if you still want to use your ND filters. But the reason that they went with this here, it's like this is a standard mounting mechanism that's on the Hero 10, and so this makes it compatible with the Max Lens mod. I know probably a lot of you don't use that, but if you do, then this is the way to go. And also just comparing it to the naked Hero 8, you can see quite a bit bigger. Of course, the Hero 8 is a lot smaller than the Hero 10, of course. And the weight difference is going to be pretty significant. So this is the Hero 8 with the little Camera Butter ND filter adapter. I'm going to pop that off here. And this is 27 grams. And then we know that the Hero 10 with the lens cover is 60 grams. So yeah, it's you know, it's more than double the weight of the Hero 8. So really the bottom line here is just a sort of a stripped down Hero 10. And, you know, for me, the Hero 10 is something that I kind of put off. I didn't really want to get it because I didn't really need it. I don't really do a lot of cinematic stuff, and the Hero 8 was totally fine for me, but you are limited to 4K 60 Super View, or you can do 4K 30 4:3 mode to get that real steady go footage if you don't want to do hyper smooth. And you don't get that 4K 120, which is on the Hero 10, or the 5.3K 60, which is on the Hero 10. So, you know, at that point I was kind of compelled to upgrade to the Hero 10 to get that 5.3K 60 frames per second and the 4K 120, which you can't get on the Hero 8. So if you've already, you know, gone and upgraded the Hero 10 and you're looking for a naked version, obviously going with the bones is the way to go to get those two resolution modes, because you can't get that on the Hero 8 or the naked Hero 8. Now, of course, you know, there's a lot of people out there that are saying, well, this is too heavy and also too expensive. So it is $399 with the GoPro subscription, which is $50 more than if you buy a full Hero 10. A lot of people complaining about that because you're getting a camera that has no screens and no battery and a lighter case. But I think, you know, what you're getting here is basically the design of the case, so they can make it adorable enough for drone flight while still maintaining that GoPro quality. And that's kind of the trade-off. And I think there's also a cost issue on their side, because they're expecting a lot of these to probably come in broken from pretty bad drone crashes, which is, I believe if you get the subscription, I don't remember exactly how many you get, like maybe 2 per year, no questions asked. So if you crash it and break it, you know, you send it in, and you do have to pay a fee. I originally heard it was $99, but now I'm hearing rumors that it's $199, which, you know, then it goes to show you that supporting something like this is kind of expensive. And if you consider the alternative, right, you can, of course, you know, what all the DIY people are saying is, don't buy this, just buy Hero 10 and strip it on yourself. It's easy. I don't think it's easy. I tear down stuff all the time, and GoPros are probably top of the list in terms of getting inside them and not destroying them. I've tried to get into many old Session 5s and Hero 6s. I have many dead cameras from failed attempts to get into those cameras. So, and I know a lot of you guys out there are sort of in the same boat. I'm sure there's plenty of you guys out there that are very skilled and can get into these in 30 seconds flat, not break anything, and build a naked Hero 10 super easy. I'm sure there's plenty of you guys out there are like that. But for those of you that aren't, or don't know how to do it, or don't want to learn how to do it, this is a good alternative. And you can, buy the subscription. If you crash it, break it, you can, get a new one. Granted, you will have to pay that fee, but it's still better than paying the full cost of a naked Hero 10, which, runs about $500 to $600, sometimes more, depending upon where you get it. They're not easy to find. I know that you can find people that will take your existing Hero 10 and then strip it down for you for a fee, somewhere between $100 to $200 usually. Of course, there's labor and the cost of the parts, etc., to put into the new case with the BEC and all that stuff too. So it's not like the difference, is going to be. It's not like you're going to be saving any money if you're going to be going the DIY route. And if you do crash your DIY naked Hero 10, you're pretty much hosed. Like, there's no program to swap it for a new one, with a fee. You have to go buy a whole new Hero 10 and basically, pay another $500 or $600 out of pocket to get that repaired or replaced. So, there's pros and cons. I'm not suggesting one's better than the other. I just know that for a lot of people that don't want to deal with the DIY route, I know that's probably, like, for most consumers, I would say 80% of the people are in that camp, and there's definitely some hardcore DIY people out there that will disagree with me. But most people, they don't have time to figure things out on their own. They don't want to spend all that extra money. They just want to buy something off the shelf and go and use it. And the Bones camera is for those people, and that's why they decided to create this camera for those people that. They saw there was a need for this type of camera. There were people out there that were interested in this, but they didn't want to go through the hassle of having to find someone to tear down their naked Hero, or tear down their Hero 10 and do all that stuff, or just buy something aftermarket. Which I do know that like for the last year or so, there was a lot of guys that were making these naked Hero 10s using the Nameless RC BEC, and whenever you use 4K 120 mode, the BEC would fry the camera. So I heard of those kind of problems as well. You're not gonna have that problem on this one. I think that's probably why it's heavier. There's a pretty big heatsink in here, and you're not going to be frying the camera if you use 4K 120 mode on this one, because of course that's covered under warranty. Anyway, you guys can discuss it in the comments section. Let me know what you guys think, which way you guys are going to go. And I'll have another video a little bit later on the camera rotor filters on this guy here. I'm actually going to use the 3D printed adapters. This is going to be a lighter setup. So if you're wondering how much those things weigh, you'll have to wait for that video. That'll be out later. Here's a little bit of footage here of me flying around the Hero 10 Bones. It's the same as any other Hero 10, really. No difference. Is the same lens and everything, and the same firmware. So no difference in video quality, but here's a little bit of sample footage, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.